New year, new me. Everyone's shouting new year, new me. Okay, cool. But what does that actually mean, in real life? What does someone have to do? What are the rules and the principles that someone would have to follow in order for that to be realistic? And I'm going to tell you. In this video, I'm going to outline a blueprint that you can put into action and start to get results. This is not about motivation. It's not just about aesthetics. It's not vibes. I'm going to give you the entire motherfucking system. Every moving part, every lever that you can pull, nothing left out. First thing first, we've got to address the elephant in the room. Calories in versus calories out. As a basic understanding, that there is the biggest lever you will pull in order for you to look different. Your body runs on energy. Food equals energy in. Movement and being alive equals energy out. Calories in versus calories out. However, it's not that simple. There are more variables. There are things that can be stacked on top of other things that can be stacked on top of other things, on top of other things that complete that equation. However, the simple equation of calories in versus calories out is exactly that. It's simple. That's nursery. That's the first step. Now, calories matter, whether you want to agree with it or not. People will throw around a comment such as, you need to eat less energy than you burn over time. Yes, but there are different things that affect that. Portion size. Now, you can have the best diet in the fucking world. Simply put, if you're eating too many calories and you're eating in a calorie surplus for you, then you will gain weight. Plain and simple. Doesn't matter if you're eating organic or clean, gluten-free, or your diet is blessed by a motherfucking monk. Too much is too much. So what you could do is start to weigh your food, track food using an app such as MyFitnessPal, which MyFitnessPal has been around for a very long time, which means that their database has a lot of information. But end all and be all, you have to stop guessing what you're eating. And a fun way that I show this is if you have cereal or you have cereal in the house, I want you to fill up a bowl with how much you would normally have and just weigh it. And then actually weigh how much they say a serving is. And that there is how I open my clients' eyes to how much calories can change. Because most people, what they fill up in their bowl is probably about double, if not triple, what a serving is. And they're like, well, that's just breakfast. But let's just say a serving is meant to be, 300 calories. Well, right there, you've had 900 calories. That's a lot. Protein, massively important. Anyone that's spoken to me knows that I normally say protein is king. Protein keeps you full. It preserves muscle when you're dieting. It helps to build muscle. And the best one is it burns more calories whilst you're digesting it. That's going to lead me into my next bit. However, before I go into the next part, I want to say the easiest way for you to up your protein, and this is the first step that I do with every client, is invest in a protein powder and have 1 or 2 scoops in one shake and do that in the morning and before you go to bed. And right there, you could add 40 grams per day or 80 grams per day if you're double scooping straight off the bat just by having 2 shakes, which normally tastes nice. And it's an easy and convenient way to just up your protein. That's an easy way to start building on this. But then obviously start prioritizing protein on your meals, which I recommend if you have your plate, half of that plate protein, a quarter of the plate vegetables, and another quarter of the plate some kind of good carbs. Protein is king. So I mentioned thermic effect of food. When you eat, some foods cost calories to just digest. Now protein costs the most, carbs cost some, and fats cost the least. So just by adopting a high protein diet, it will start to affect the calories out portion of that equation. Because just by you eating, so the calories in, food coming in, eating calories in, protein, it will cost the body calories just to digest it, which affects the calories out portion of that equation. If you were having the same amount of carbohydrates, it would still burn more calories than if you were just having fat, but not as much as protein. Make sense? So in my eyes, a high protein diet isn't optional. It's something that is a must. There's so many benefits to it. Fiber. Now, I like to think of fiber as appetite control. It slows digestion, keeps you full, feeds gut bacteria. And from my experience, people in a low fiber diet experience more hunger signals. They're a bit of snacky kind of people. They get annoyed very easily and they tend to binge. Easy way to solve this problem is start to incorporate more vegetables, fruits, potatoes, oats, beans into your diet. However, I will say, try not to go from a low fiber diet to a shit ton of fiber, because then you'll have some digestive issues. Start to increase your fiber a little bit by little bit, okay? Liquid calories. Calories that you drink don't fill you up. Juice, alcohol, sugary coffees, smoothies, they're sneaky as fuck. They do damage. And then some of these sugary coffees that you get, they're like 400-500 calories. That's a fucking meal. But you finish it like that and, you probably still be eating with it. You have like a croissant or something like that in the morning. So pull them out, okay? So now let's talk about the calories out portion of the equation. Energy burn. This is where people massively underestimate how much work is required. Basal metabolic rate, or BMR. This is the calories you burn just existing, breathing, thinking, keeping your organs online. Now, again, my experience, bigger bodies burn more calories. Right? We have more to move around. More muscle burns more. Now, here's the issue with crash dieting. That lowers that. However, building muscle raises it. So crash dieting, a lot of the weight that you lose is actually from muscle. However, taking your time and prioritizing building muscle, that actually builds your metabolism, which leads me into my next part. Muscle mass. Muscle is expensive tissue. It costs calories for the body to retain muscle on its frame. Your body doesn't give a fuck about how you want to look. It doesn't care that you want to have abs. It doesn't care that you want, big shoulders, big arms, big triceps. For the ladies there, don't give a fuck that you want batty and thighs. It doesn't care how you look. It only cares about survival. So keeping muscle on your frame is not efficient for your body's survival. Muscle is expensive. Now, more muscle equals a higher calorie burn, building the metabolism, and metabolism is higher. It has to be, because it has to feed and hold on to this muscle. Muscle also equals better insulin sensitivity. A lot of people that have muscle, right, their risk of having like type 2 diabetes become less because of the amount of muscle that they have in their frame. It normally is, again, equated to better insulin sensitivity. Muscle also gives you a better body shape. You have some people that, just do a whole bunch of cardio, don't lift any weights, and they end up that whole skinny fat. And when I say like that, I mean you're just a fat version of yourself, but just a bit smaller. You don't have the shape. This is why lifting weights matter. Losing weight without lifting weights equals muscle loss, slow metabolism. And as I mentioned, that skinny fat look. You have to train. You have to put the work in. Now, my advice would be a minimum of 2 weight training sessions is good enough to maintain and possibly build. I'd say no more than 5 weight training sessions a week. And even that's a bit much. I'd probably say actually go for 4. Focus on progressive overload. Focus on making your sets challenging. Remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you. Now, the big one that everyone fucking overdoes and overspeak about and all this, your cardio. Cardio burns calories. Yes. However, if you do too much cardio, you will start to become fatigued. You will increase the amount that you get hungry. And doing too much cardio can just mean that you end up saying, fuck this is too much, I'm done. Use cardio as a tool, not a punishment. Now, me personally, I like to say, use cardio for its intended purposes, which is cardiovascular health. Your heart is a muscle. We want to work it. Cardio doesn't have to be running on a treadmill or intervals or Tabata or boot camp or anything like that. Cardio can be simply walking, which is actually one of the best things for burning body fat, which leads me to my next. Steps and NEAT. This is huge. NEAT equals non-exercise activity thermogenesis. God damn, that's a mouthful. Basically, it's a fancy name for walking, standing, moving, fidgeting, doing life. See all this shit I'm doing with my hands? That's NEAT. Now, this can burn more calories than the gym. When calories drop, your body tries to move less without you knowing. You have to fight this. So how do you fight it? My suggestion is getting yourself one of these. Doesn't have to be too expensive, but if you are doing everything above and you ensure that you are doing 8 to 12,000 steps a day, you'll be in the best position to lose body fat. Now, something that is thrown around in the fitness industry, hormones, they do matter, but not in the way you think. Now, hormones don't break physics, but they do affect behavior, hunger, recovery, and energy. Insulin, again, another one that's thrown around in the fitness industry. Insulin helps to move nutrients into cells. If you have good muscle mass and you move around and you've got movement, then you'll have better insulin sensitivity. If you have a poor diet and inactivity, you'll have more fat storage over time. This is why training and food quality actually matter. Now let's talk about leptin and ghrelin, the hunger hormones. So leptin equals the I'm full, I'm good, no, I'm done. And ghrelin equals feed me now. Now here's the thing. Poor sleep, extreme dieting, and stress equals lower leptin, higher ghrelin, which in simple terms means you feel hungrier and less satisfied. Now, a lot of people will point to people like this and say, you're weak or you're weak-minded or some shit like that, without understanding that it's just biology. Simple way to solve this, fix your sleep, don't diet extremely, and try to manage your stress. Talking about stress, let's talk about the stress hormone, cortisol. Chronic stress can equal worse sleep, higher cravings, water retention, and reduced fat loss. Your body doesn't care what the stress is. You can have work stress, money stress, life stress. Maybe you're just dieting too fucking hard. Let's not forget that working out is also a stress. So there's some people that, go absolutely hard on the fucking workouts, and they're like, you're gonna work out 7 days a week, and I'm gonna do 2 fucking classes a day, and then 2 hours worth of some kind of weight training, and then I'm gonna do cardio for an hour, and they're just doing way too much. That is a stress. So by you thinking you're doing all this hard work, you are stressing your body out, which is raising your cortisol. That's not gonna be great. Now, I'm not saying that is gonna be the only reason why you gain weight or why you're in the position you are. There's multiple, the same way it's going to take multiple changes for you to see a result. It's multiple things put together is the reason why you are where you are. Stress is stress. End of. Find a way to de-stress. And I know it sounds like bullshit, but the way I de-stress is I jump on the PS5 or the Xbox and I just fucking play some games. Jump on Tekken, beat the fuck out of someone. Or right now I'm on Last of Us Part 2. I'm killing some zombies, I'm killing some motherfuckers. Something like that. De-stress. Okay, testosterone and estrogen. Now these are going to affect muscle gain, fat distribution, recovery, and your recovery. Now, resistance training, sleep, and nutrition equals a better hormone environment. However, crash diets wreck this. Simple way to avoid this? Don't crash diet, motherfucker. Are you sensing a trend here? This is one that I talk about a lot with my clients. Sleep, motherfucker, non-negotiable. Listen, bad sleep equals higher hunger. Your training becomes trash because you ain't got the fucking energy to train because you're tired, and your recovery is obviously shit. You know why? Because you recover the most when you're fucking sleeping. All of that equals worse fat loss. You can't out-diet 4 hours worth of sleep. How do you fix it? How do you think? Aim for 7 to 9 hours worth of sleep. You might even need set an alarm to go to bed. The thing that I don't get is, and I have this conversation a lot with parents, right? Y'all set a time for your kid to go to bed. But for you, no, there's no time. You can be up till 2 a.m. fucking doom scrolling. Motherfucker, go to bed with the kid. Or okay, a little bit after because, parents need their time. But set a time that you get into bed by. A respectable time. Treat this with as much importance that you do with the whole training and the cardio and the fucking diet. Because it is. It's as important. This is where you recover. This is where most of the muscle building and all that happen. Hydration, big one. Water affects a lot. It affects digestion, performance, 2% dehydration drops your strength. That's something that's stuck with me for years and years, right? Even hunger cues and your energy can be affected by water. A simple fucking thing. A lot of people that come to me and say, Fee, I'm tired. I feel tired all the time. Increase your water. Dehydration can feel like hunger. So you eat, but you're not actually hungry. You're just dehydrated. Drink water. Drink more water. This is not something that you're going to fix overnight, right? And I'm not expecting anyone to go for fucking 500 milliliters of water. Yes, I know people that do that. For the entire day, 500 milliliters of water, that's all they're having. I'm not expecting that motherfucker to go from 500 milliliters to fucking 4 liters overnight. That's not going to happen. But work on it and get yourself into a better place. It's boring, I know, but it's effective. Consistency and time. Here's one that I struggle with, because a lot of people don't want to hear it. They want to hear you say, oh, I'll get you where you want to be in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever fucking bullshit timeline. Fat loss and muscle gain are slow. I'll say it again. Fat loss and muscle gain are slow. Your body adapts. Weight stalls. Progress pauses. That doesn't mean it's broken. It means you're human. You don't need perfection. You need repetition. Weeks, months, not days. Think how long it took you to get into the position you are in right now. Now, because you are going to work against your body, because whatever you're doing right now is how your body wants to look. So if I'm talking to someone that wants to lose body fat and build muscle, naturally, your body wants to be bigger. You have some people who struggle to put weight on, and that is them putting the work in to gain weight. So what I'm saying is, wherever you are right now, whatever your goal is, whatever you're going to try to do is going to be working against what your body wants to naturally do. So if it took you a year to get out of shape, then it'll probably take you a year to get into shape, if not 2. That's not what people want to hear, but we're realistic here, okay? Does it mean that you cannot get it in 6 months? No, but that's drastic. But right now, we're talking about realism. We're talking about the average Joe. We're talking about people who have social lives, they have kids, they got responsibilities, they got jobs. Their life is not just looking good. That's who this video is for. But you need to give yourself a realistic time span, and it's normally double the amount of time that it got you into the situation that you're in right now. So I'm gonna slap you with a reality check right now. If you want real results, this is what you need to manage: calories, protein, fiber, food quality, thermic effect of food, steps, training, building muscle, NEAT, sleep, stress, hormones, hydration, consistency. You tick all of those boxes, and that's perfection. Miss one, progress slows. Miss several, it probably stops. This is not punishment. This is responsibility. So when you hear new year, new me, understand what it means. Not motivation, not magic, not shortcuts, just doing the basics properly for long enough. That's it. That's the secret. And yes, it's boring, but it works. And there you go. That's the blueprint. Take it and go ahead and make the progress. Now, if you need any additional help or you want this to be more tailored to you as an individual, send me a message and let me get you there. But this is what it takes.